Recording in progress. So, well, I'm super happy to see you now. And there's some of you that I haven't seen in a while, Maria and Cynthia. And by the way, Happy New Year to everyone as well. There is, like we have been speaking with some of you, and it's hard to keep track about what I spoke with each of you. But I just collected all the information, and I kind of put it into a notion that I would like for us to be our working place. There's some questions that I have for you, and I think ideally we can just discuss this now, or we can always schedule a meeting just to discuss specific stuff. But I'm going to share a link with you guys. 1 second, so you can tell me if you have access to it. You can edit. I don't know if all of you uses Notion, but it's the tool that we have been using for a while for working on everything on transformative tech. And I created a new blog for chapter leaders for this 2022. It's working. It's always ongoing working, so we can adjust it, we can design it all together, but ideally the beginning of this is a point for us to communicate. So I'm going to start sharing my screen because I wanted to share with you all, and maybe some of you cannot see it right now, but also I would like for you to explore it on your own, but I wanted to explain it before. So we have some basic information here, and this is something that is very work in progress for all of us. This basic information, I will also include more as it comes and whenever I see that fits. And so this information in this main blog is all about where can we communicate. These are the contact details from all of us. Like the monthly meetings that I'll be hosting. Well, this is outdated because this is from last year, because I also have the one from last year, and you also have it. And then the code of conduct that probably you have already read it. If not, it's very simple, and I think we all agree on this. If not, then let me know, but I believe it's fair for all of us. Some questions that we can have, and feel free to add the questions that you think that are important for us to answer as a chapter leader, especially since we are onboarding some new chapters in Tokyo and in Mexico. And any questions that you might have, some useful links for us, and I will explain this later. And this is something also that will keep growing, because there will be a lot of useful links for us, all the time. The playbook that we used in the past is here, so it leads to a document, a Google Doc. So far, this is something that I also would like to update, because there's many things that have changed. But since we haven't really executed last year and we are just starting to execute, I want to wait until things are rolling for me to update this playbook and for it to really reflect what's going on in the life of the chapters. Now, this part of the Notion is very interesting for me, because it's something that all of you have access. So, these are the events that we'll be hosting for this year. This is a page that is interactive, so each one of us can use it. And the interesting thing is that this is connected to Slack. So some of you might have seen that there is some notifications on Slack going on that are kind of weird. And on the chapter page, what is it here, which is basically this, I connected it to Zapier so that every time there is a new event, all the chapters are automatically aware of it. And there is a link to the Notion page, and you can see who published it and everything. So it's very easy to keep us speaking about stuff, especially when there is an event happening. And there is, this is also something you can change. So the stage I decided is like planning, or needs review, or it's ready to be hosted, or it's already published. And I will speak a little bit more about this in a bit. When is the date of the event? Who's organizing it? wait, because I cannot see anything, but we have options to add more stuff. Notion has a very interesting function that is, it allows us to see stuff in different views. So from default view to board, so we can see what's in the planning, what's ready, what's published, you know, what has no stage. It also allows us to see things in a calendar view. So here we can see that there is an event on the 14th. I'm going to use this event page for all the events that are related to Transformative Tech, the chapters and the pods, so that we all are aware of everything that's going on within Transformative Tech. And I think it's really good because this is working for all of us. And you know, it allows you as well to include information in here. This is just kind of a Notion tutorial, so I don't want to get in more detail about that, but this is really something we all can use. And you know, like we all can, you know, tell me if there's something you want to change and whatever. Now about the meetings, this meeting is recorded, so I'm just going to add in here all the meetings that have been hosted with the recording and the date and who hosted the meeting, right? So you will still receive emails and calendar invites for each one of the meetings. But there will be also the link to the recording here, so that you know, we all can keep track of the meetings with the link to the recordings. I think this is you know, very interesting to see what happened and when. Actually, we can add here to the events like a link to the recording, maybe. And then this is really, I really like this one. So you know, sometimes we want to communicate something and we want it to remain. So I have an idea on you know, how this can be executed, because I learned something yesterday and I would like for us to be aware of that. So these are notes that we can use, each one of us, and you just have to, you know, write down who you are, what's the date that you created, if it's a question, a suggestion, you know, an opportunity, or you know, something that you want to ask other, what's the title, and just, you know, write down whatever it is. This one is also connected to Slack. So whenever there is a new note, we will all receive a Slack notification on our chapter leaders channel. So just so you know. Now, one thing that I heard from you is that the website is not reflecting the community right now. So I in the process of changing it, and also this is something that if you want to jump in and support on the design of this, then I welcome everyone who wants that. I'm working right now with the website designer to turn the old events page into the new community page. And I'm asking him, you know, like some specific stuff, but it's going to reflect who's each one of you, what's your city and or your focus. So, you know, if you know, Agnes right now is not leading so much the Paris chapter, but he's still interested in leading the Flow for Peak Performance, you know, pod or chapter, then he will be able to do that. And there will be a link for each chapter that will go to a small profile of the chapter that includes the city, some a short bio, like the old page. So this is something that I think is interesting for all of us, and I think that we can also, you know, design it the way we would like. So right now I'm working on that. There is some changes that need to be done, and then. I'm speaking very quickly because I know we don't have too much time, and I would like for you to speak more. I would like. There's something that I discovered. Okay, so come back. I've always been very disappointed with Mighty Networks, and right now, like for the last few months, there is very low engagement in the community. So I have been thinking about how we can optimize the functions that Mighty Network has, and you know, which other platforms can bring the same, you know, functionalities, or at least something similar, and still something that is more engaging. This is my first idea. This is something that can be discussed, and I would love to hear your thoughts. But my idea is to move the community to from Mighty Networks to And also this is important. We try to move the community to the platform that is built in this WordPress website, but I didn't like how it looked. I didn't like the user experience, and it's just not, it's not ideal for our purpose. We want the community to be more engaged, and they will be like totally disengaged if we move it to the platform that was built within this website. So if you have an idea on how to do it, and welcome back, but I don't know why today I'm speaking so fast. I'm so sorry for this, but I'm trying to keep track of everything. What I thought about the community is that we can engage the community more on Discord for hosting the conversations. There is, a lot of opportunities, and we have got, some people that have advised us on do that. I'm starting to using it more right now. I'm still new at this, but I know that there is some bots that can help us, connect the community better and guide them smoothly through the community. And because we'll be a community that is based as well on events, host the events on LinkedIn. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I signed up for an event, and it was hosted on LinkedIn. So it's kind of Eventbrite. It's very similar to Eventbrite, but it allows the people to say, okay, so there's this event, you can save it to your calendar, and the speaker will be this person on LinkedIn. So I think this is a very good opportunity for us to broaden up to a public, and not having to sign up for Eventbrite to host our events or anything like that, and also opening up from only Mighty Networks to other people that might be interested in transformative tech through LinkedIn. And we have the transformative tech page. So anytime we want to host an event, we just need to create one event in here and add the person who is hosting the event as a speaker and adding their LinkedIn profile. So it will show up as the event is organized by Transformative Tech and this person. And if there is, a guest to the event, then the guest can also show up. So now all of this is what has been happening in the last few weeks on my end. And also I've been creating templates for all of this that we have been speaking about. So for example, templates for us to be able to fill up just some quick things so that the events are easy to publish, and just like I just have to kind of copy paste stuff and just put it there. Also, one of the things that we spoke last time is a way for us to keep a ritual, kind of a ritual integration. So I created the form that we all can send out. By the way, I'll stop sharing, but I will continue sharing. What is it? For events. So forms like this is a follow-up form, and this is the initial form. So it's kind of, how was the session? What did you learn? What other subjects would you like for us to talk about after the event? Oh, it's turned around, I think. Oh, well, there is another form that is more about what would you like for us to talk about? What are you interested in? What are the biggest challenges that you're facing right now? So that we can start, on the one hand, being more coherent in our conversation, and also collecting some information from the community that is important for us. And just, keeping a little bit of a ritual, within our community. And this is something that Ben also suggested, and I think it's great, so that, like in the end, we can build this together and see if this is something that's working. That I believe it's like really good. So we can decide. All in all, my end for this year is really have an engaged community. Well, that's always my end, but it's it's always a try and error thing, and it's kind of like testing things take time, and also I don't want to move the community from one place to the other, so that's why you're kind of my board of trustees. So I run everything into you, and I would love to hear your thoughts. And this is a lot. I will try to organize it in an email, but so what I what I'm thinking about for us to discuss today is whether you think, this is the right approach for us. We already spoke about each one of the roles that we can play, and being a chapter leader in a city, or being a vertical leader in something specific, or being a community ambassador. But many of you didn't fit that much into just one of those roles. So what I would like to think all together is, okay, so let's build the person chapter in the end, on the one hand, to be implemented within the website, to be very clear for everybody, so that anyone who's interested in something specific that a chapter can offer, they can always go to you, so that we can plan in advance our events, whether they are virtual or in person, and we can support each other. So so this is so far what I have been doing, and I have shared a lot with you. By the way, hello Laura, you just joined to watch the the recording, because right now is the time for you to share your thoughts with me. I'm happy to listen. If you have any comments on, hey Laura, I was just sharing quickly with everybody. I share a Notion page.
Yes.
By the way, I don't know if you have the link in there. It's here. I also was sharing kind of the vision for the community, from moving it from Mighty Networks to Discord, and the events to LinkedIn events. And so I was just asking everyone, what are your thoughts on those? Marianne?
Yeah, I really loved everything that you shared. And I think because we have moved away from like in-person events, and some of us might have been more comfortable with, hosting in-person events, and now, transitioning to virtual, there's so much that you need to learn about the virtual world and hosting, right? So I thought it would be really awesome that, some of us could come together, perhaps like bi-weekly, 30 minutes or an hour, whatever it is, to just share some notes, like best practices about, hey, like, oh, LinkedIn is doing this LinkedIn audio thing, because there's so much, it's changing so much. Like now we moved away from Clubhouse to like Twitter Spaces is happening now. It's like, that's where it's like last year was all about Clubhouse. Now it's like the thing is Twitter Spaces. So and everyone's like expertise, I think, is different. There's a lot to information to consume and learn. And so I think it would be nice to sometimes like take everyone behind the scenes, like, oh, how do you do this, and learn from each other. And then so we can support each other. It's just harder to learn everything on our own and like in silence, right? So yeah, it's just, I feel like there's some members who are more active, and they're doing it, and it would be great to just see like, oh, okay, well, what have you noticed, what are some of the best practices you noticed, let's take us behind the scene. So anyways, that's all I want to share.
So this is great. Actually, I think actually one of the things that well, there's several things that you say that resonate with me. One of them is sharing best practices is great. I think we can host these kind of sessions, or we can use this time for that. Otherwise, we can organize separate specific meetings just for kind of sharing best practices, and especially in virtual events, as you're saying, they evolve so quickly that sometimes we don't know what to do. I think we can start doing those once we start executing some of the events, right? Or at least we have some idea already of how our things are going, so that we can decide whether to move or not. I don't know. I feel like if we start executing, then we'll see what problems arise. So I really would love to get like to follow up on that idea, especially because sure, as you know, I just discovered about LinkedIn a week ago, and we could have done that in the past, and who knows what would have happened. But there's many things that I also learn from each one of you every time that I have these conversations, that it's also hard for me to keep track of all these learnings. So I
Mhm.
would love for us to be able to share, this. And also, I think this is very interesting, actually, and it also speaks about one thing that been mentioned as well at some point, and is the opportunity for us to share resources. So I think we can have, one meeting that is separated from this, that is only for sharing resources and like for asking and getting support and all this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I just sorry, Ben, I
yeah,
just
yeah.
follow up to that. I just want to say, yeah, it's great. You're talking about execution, but I'm already seeing some members who are active and who are, executing. So it would be nice to, pick their brain and have a
In
session with
transformative tech,
them. Yeah,
of course, I
yeah,
would love that.
because they're already really active. Last year there were, some members who were super active, so they're already doing it. It would be nice to hear from them what worked, what didn't work. And I think a hands-on approach, like for me, video like is way better than putting a like a page or curriculum together. Like, I mean, I'm just like a best practices page, because video, it's like you can go back and refer to it and pause it. Yeah, maybe the
Mhm.
videos could be in there.
Sure.
One thing I also want to, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
One other thing that I wanted to say, I think that's a really good point. And I think if we cull those resources from those calls, like there was this guy that he's not doing it anymore in the community space that put together this newsletter of just like great resources, like, tools for kind of graphics, like, cool tools to do like web recording, like new investors. I just feel like maybe there's a way to collect that information and either keep the videos up so some people can see it, but then I think we could maybe I could do this within the community side, just pick like the top 5 resources submitted by people in the trans tech community and share those in our community space. Because when this was happening with the NFM, I felt I was the only newsletter I read front to, top to bottom. And I always learned something amazing. And I just feel like I'd like somebody to be sharing those resources with me. So why don't we try to do that with our community here? So maybe that's one of the first things I can do within the community outreach, is talk about these resources, collect them, and then share them with the community.
I think this is great. Actually, these are some thoughts that come from what you said, Mariam, and from what you said, Ben. One of them is we can host the session, to discuss things like virtual events or like, practices on several other areas, as part of just like community events. So in the end, it's not only open for chapter leaders, but it's also available for other people within the community. And actually what I'm thinking about where we can share those resources that can be interested is because we are already developing what I just shared with you on the integration form, on the ritual integration survey. We can add a link at the end of the of the survey saying, hey, here's the link to the top resources that have been shared from the community. Is a spreadsheet that everybody and please add yours to the document. So it's kind of a collaborative document, right? So I think we can do something like that, so we can somehow connect what's going on during the events and just have a very easy call to action for the people to add the document and keep the document alive, right? So having like a specific date where it was uploaded, from who, and what is the use of the thing. It can also be Notion. We can think about other platforms to do that, but I think it's great. I think you guys did a great point on that. So I know some of you came a little bit later, Dimitri and Laura, but I don't know if Cynthia, you have any comments or Rose on this?
Oh, were you asking me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can start. I was saying both you or Rose, but yeah, go ahead.
I think this is great, Paula, what you're doing with the events and how you're structuring it. I would love to have like a 1, 2, 3, 4 list so that when I go to create an event, I go, oh, I'm supposed to go here. There's the link, and then I'm supposed to do this, and then that would be really fabulous. And it looks like you have almost everything to add to that list. If we could just put it in one place, that would be amazing. I just have one other thought. If somebody could send me an invite to the Discord channel, that would be awesome. But I've been thinking more, you know, I'm in North Carolina in a kind of a smallish town. And so we weren't sure that a chapter here would really make any sense, because I'm not sure I'm going to get local traction. But I would like to participate in some way. And I had put together a proposal for doing kind of a focus area. And I am still kind of thinking that through. And I'm wondering when it is that you're going to want to kind of put these new events into motion, so I can make sure I can get it together.
Mm-hmm. Well, so we still don't have the Discord channel. This is just an idea that I have. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that, on what are the, you know, the best alternatives for our community to hang around.
Well, that's certainly where the nerds are. So it fits our community.
I know all the techies, but you know, like I don't know so many options so far. Well, you know, that's maybe worth a meeting, like kind of these best practices on digital communities with the community. So that's my idea. Actually, it's a good idea to just, you know, have the community involved in this conversation. Maybe someone has an idea. And then regarding North Carolina, you are in Asheville, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to, I actually need to write this down, because I'm going to connect you with one girl who was actually Asheville chapter leader for like a month. But the problem was the same. This is such a small community that in the end, she didn't, it didn't make so much sense, or at least, you know, like, I don't know, I've never been there, so I cannot tell. But again, like Mariam said, that we are switching a lot to virtual. Whenever possible, it can be in person, and especially when it's actually better for the chapter, then definitely you know, in-person events are great, and it's a place to, you know, to connect people with people in a different way.
So I guess quick question, like it seems like you have a clear place to list people on the website that are volunteering as chapter leaders, but you know, the idea of content leader, like a theme, that type of thing is still, there's nothing really happening in that area, right?
It is. So actually, as I was speaking about this earlier, maybe you were not part of the conversation before, but this, so this website, where is it? Here. This website now, it's community. So right now, actually, I'm going to change this. This is important what you said, because I want to have everyone here who is involved from certain areas. So, you know, and name the person, not only as the city they come from, but also at what their specific area or, you know, focus that they are supporting with, because, you know, this doesn't really reflect what's going on. You know, Ben is not anymore Berkeley chapter leader. He's, you know, really helping with the global community, and, you know, each one of you have a different approach at the moment, so it will be reflected. Also, right now it's only the chapters, but the pod leaders will be also included. And at some point, I guess that T-Squared News should also have the, you know, profile of the people who are writing articles for transformative tech. So my goal is to have this, you know, this website reflecting more the reality, and this is the first step. So I am just starting working on this website. This is this was actually updated last night. Well, it was, I worked on that before, but the person who was working on the website, he just joined yesterday, so he's building the website, and there is, you know, any comments. So this is great, because now I remember that this should be changed, and it should include also the people who are not only chapter leaders but also supporting on other areas. And one of the things that I wanted to share also with you guys is I would like for us all together to think or think about what is our next quarter somehow. So like think about what is our goals for the next quarter, and more or less work instead of an annual state, work in quarterly, so that we can see what's working and what's not working, and we don't have to keep going on for 1 year or something that is really not taking off, or like not really understanding what's going on with the community. So I was thinking that's why I created this as well, so that we can each one of us start thinking about what we would like to execute, if it's a pod on diversity and exclusion, or if it's a session on compassion, or if it's a session for the community to share best practices on digital events. Everything can be done. So like you have the community, and like there's a lot of things that we can start doing, and this is something that we discussed last year, on the fact that we won't only be now talking about this city, and this is the city event, or this is the vertical and this is the vertical event, or this is the horizontal. Is really whatever we think that is important for the community, and whatever we think we can get support from it, and we can also support the community. So using this calendar for that, so that also as chapter leaders, we can help sharing, spreading the voice, using LinkedIn as a means to broaden up our scope. And one platform that I would love to give it a chance, and maybe I've spoke about this in the past, is Wonder. So I don't know if we have, if I think most of you have already used Wonder, but I think it's a very I think it's a very good, space for us to hang around and, like to connect with the people in a different way. It allows people to, join. Let me see. I don't know if this video reflects what I want to say, but I think most of you know. It's just kind of. Okay. Dimitri, I'm going to mute you. So, it's just a space that allows us to meet as if we were in a physical. I think we can explore it, but we can use Zoom. We can use whatever we want. At the end of the day, the goal is that we reconnect with the transformative tech community. Having conversations that matter for us, and that matter to the community, right? So, Rose, I know you had something to say before. Sorry that I interrupted you.
Hi, everyone. No, I was just going to say that I really love the idea of the link, how you're switching to the LinkedIn events first, because I think it allows people, like the public, to keep up with transformative tech in general. They can see like the events happening in the other chapters, all the other chapters. And also I love that, I just love that everything is in one place, and LinkedIn events are super effective and super efficient. So yeah, I just wanted to say I like that idea.
Great. Thank you. I love that too. I'm excited about that. I'm taking notes of each one, like everything that you're saying. I'm also taking notes on the comments in the chat. So Dimitri, Laura, you joined recently. Hi, Laura.
Hi. I added Gather Town. That's another really cool way to interact. It's kind of similar to Wonder, but you create like an avatar and or an NFT kind of sort of thing. It's kind of like the Web3 type of experience. So yeah, I know, like for my startup, I use that as my virtual office. I have a virtual office, so I do like with interns who are working remotely, like they hang out there during the day, but also you can hold meetings and stuff like that, or conferences. I've done like a tech expo on there, and so yeah, it's pretty cool. You can do all kinds of things. You can work with the people to design your own setup. I know Teach for America, that's how I got involved with it. Teach for America has their own GatherTown. But yeah, I think this looks good. The Notion page with everything outlined is really helpful. And I love like thinking about the quarterly plans. I am definitely focused on strengthening my community here in DC. So that's like kind of where my focus is, but I will be doing like some events and partnering with other chapters to like lead events. The only thing I kind of wanted to ask, like in terms of from a global perspective, like what is our plan like globally? Like, are we having an academy? Are we doing a conference this year? Like, because those are some things that, you know, people ask, and it would be good to kind of know kind of what as a global group what we're doing.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, thank you first for the link to the app. I'm checking it and it looks great. Yes, I think, you know, it makes sense for us to start working quarterly. And so, you know, we can keep track and we can, like, I actually, you know, would like to follow up with each one of you. We don't have to have a meeting unless we want on what's, you know, your plan, so that, you know, we can think together on what are the best options, like platforms. I will check Gather as well, so we can create a Gather room and LinkedIn. And yes, so there won't be any, so I won't like, there won't be conference as long as we are not certain about the COVID situation. So, you know, the thing is that, you know, the conference usually was kind of the cornerstone of the Transformative Tech community, which allows us to keep running, you know, throughout the year. But it takes a lot of resources, and it takes almost as much resources. Well, not really, but to host a virtual event takes also a lot of resources that, you know, it was really hard for us to host the conference 2 years in 2020. So we decided that, you know, if it's a physical event, then we'll do it again. If not, then for now we will hold until the situation is more certain. The Academy will be launched with JV Vidyarthi in March. We are still deciding on what's going to be, and maybe we can have just a conversation about the Academy so I can get some insights from you guys as well. But so far we are starting with separate courses that are, you know, longer and more focused on you know, like one specific area. So in the case of JV Vidyarthi, is going to be the attention economy, but we are also, you know, working on one other course for the TT Academy, that is the minimal viable data with Troy Haynes and, you know, someone else from his team. So so far, as how the Academy looks as of now is based on, you know, specific one-time courses, or, you know, courses that can be also replicated throughout the year. And the reason why is that is because, you know, like hosting a huge academy as we used to have in the past, it also costs a lot of resources. So we're thinking how we can just keep the community rolling. And one of the things that I asked also you guys and from the community, what is it that you got the most out of it? And it was about the people and the connections that you make. And, you know, like that's why I'm putting so much emphasis into bringing the best from the academy and the best from the conference into a virtual community, and you know, making it so that we all can think about our own conference and you know, really taking the lead to that, because I know the community will be very engaged in that if we execute it the right way. So, you know, I really want for us to be able to, you know, to provide those spaces in a virtual way, because I know that's what people love the most about the academy. It was, of course, the learning, but the learning is still there, and we can update it with, like, you know, these kind of courses, but in the end, it's all about the people. So that's why I really would love for that to happen. But one thing that we are doing is starting to partner with other bigger events that are hosting, that are organizing. So the organization is going to be entirely on a different organization, and they will provide some space for the transformative tech. So for example, one of them is the World Happiness Fest that will take place, and I will follow up with some of you guys, because I think there's a lot of knowledge that you can share within the World Happiness Fest. Another one is the HR Tech Week. So HR Disrupt is hosting a one week of HR Tech Week, and we'll follow up with the organizations that are relevant for HR within transformative tech, and doing that throughout the year. So there is also opportunities for our community to broaden up to other decision makers and other corporations that are relevant for each one of you, so that can also happen even if the conference is not happening. I hope this answered your question. So there is a lot of things that we are still doing.
Sounds good. That's good to know. Thanks, Paula. And I'm glad also
Great.
we're like shifting to LinkedIn too, because it just helps condense something like all of the connections.
I know. I'm excited about that too. Dimitri, hi.
Hey guys, I have a question. What are some of, do we have any other events that we're going to be participating in similar to Happiness?
So for now is Happiness and HR Tech Week. So this is for the first quarter. We are still deciding, but also if you know of a conference or a big event that we should participate in, we are welcome to just have conversations. We have Nicole, we have Ari, we have each one of you, we have me.
Awesome.
Okay, so so just quick notes, and then I will just let it to you guys, because I think it's also interesting that we just discuss on what we need, and just ask as well to everyone, so that we can at least get some insights from each one of us who are in this meeting. As I said, I'll follow up via email with each one of you, because I would like to, set up a structure for the first quarter for all of us that is based on what we want to do. At least, we have a short-term vision, and we can start executing, and we can start, because we took a lot of time to speak about the why and the how, and a lot of things that we spoke last year, and I'm already building on that. If there's something that I'm missing, let me know, because I it's a lot, but I try to keep track of everything that we discuss, and I try to execute as much as possible. And so yeah, I will just text you guys individually to follow up, also to the people who didn't attend, so that we can start planning our events and our things for this year. Okay, so how would you guys would like to spend these 8 minutes? I think I would like to hear what is going on besides transformative tech with each one of you, so that maybe there's some synergies happening. Does it sound good? I will start in the order of attendance. So, Mariam.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess this year I'm stepping into this new identity of being a content creator, which feels kind of uncomfortable, but you know what? Let's just do it, right? Because I got the gears and everything. It's just that there's a lot of unknowns, but this is what we got to do, right? We're online, we've got to create content, we've got to pass on the knowledge and educate. So I'm excited for that. And there's a bit of a discomfort of the unknown, but we'll figure it out, right? So there's that. And also, as far as community goes, Discord, yes. I'm loving Circle more than Discord. So there's another thing to, another thing to think about, right? So I'll share circle with you right here. And yeah, so that's sort of like me stepping into this new identity, which is, you know, I'm just declaring it right now. So then I'm forced to do it, right? Like I'm going to do this.
What kind of content are you creating?
You know, content, whatever, like for us, right? We are doing hosting, you said events, right? And then there's like education or whatever. So yeah, the plan, we can talk about that, right? So what do we want to see in the first quarter, right? Yeah, the content will be, yeah, there's going to be trans tech content, of course, right? To contribute to the community, and more around mental health stuff, right? Yeah.
I am so excited. I also would like to talk about you because I'm also thinking about creating content that's still long way.
Yeah,
to
I
go.
know you're a YouTuber, like you kind of like dip your toes being a YouTuber. Okay.
I didn't know about that.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
it's
she
in
has
Spanish.
a channel. She has it like it's in Spanish.
Okay, I guess I wouldn't.
Spanish
I guess I
channel on
wouldn't
mental
understand it. Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
It's a very old channel that was popular like 5 years ago, and then I stopped, and then now I'm retaking it again.
Mhm.
But if you're interested, I can share with you so I can get more likes and all these things.
Yeah, I'd love to chat with you, and you know, maybe we can all support each other to, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, of course, Mariam. So let's follow up on that. And also, I would love to hear, Ben. I know you are into so many projects. How did it go with the heart variability measurement?
Yeah, well, thank you, and nice to kind of work to start to kind of revitalize this community. I'm super excited. I just want to say, like, every day I talk to somebody who is a person who should be in trans tech. I mean, I sometimes joke about just the attraction of synchronicity that's happening, and I'm like, you know, so I'm even more motivated to try to like create this space with all of you guys so that you know, this is a space that people can come, because you know, I think there's a lot of siloed people out there working on things that could use this community, and then there's also sadly just a lot of self-interest from other, like, you know, when corporate people talk about corporate collaboration, and then they're like, oh, but it's we'll set the ecosystem and we'll invite who comes in. That's not real collaboration to me. So I'd love to, you know, 2022 is really my year of pushing this collaboration kind of model. I've connected with some, so right now where my company, The Verse, is building digital experiences that shift health and consciousness. We just moved out of well-being to actually just go straight to consciousness. We have about 40 plus people working with us, and we're building basically art and games, you know, that kind of promote, you know, these shifts. And I'm happy to kind of share more about that. But I would say, like, I'm interested in talking to people who are in the space of gaming, and building games that have this impact around health and consciousness. And then my other startup is in senior well-being, and we learn a lot from both of these groups, you know, kind of synergistically. But one of the things that we're looking to do, I'm looking to collaborate with anybody in the senior well-being space. What we've decided to do is to put seniors together with their care providers and to create a curriculum of courses. So typically it's like seniors can take these well-being courses or, you know, lifestyle classes, courses, and the caregivers have courses on how to deal with the stress. And I'm not talking about caregivers like, you know, necessarily nurses or people like that. I'm talking about when people care for their own loved ones, the stress that it puts on that kind of relationship, and, you know, just having a place where people can realize that there's resources, there's community to talk to. So we created a dual-sided course that will have the seniors and the caregivers go through the same content material, some of it kind of overlapping. And we hope that that will actually start to give the seniors a voice to talk about what their needs are, to give the caregivers a voice, and to have a better conversation, and to kind of study that to see what we learn are the kind of true pain points that we could solve with other applications going forward. So anybody in gaming and well-being, anybody in senior well-being, I'd love to share more about what I'm doing and to share the resources of people that I think are interested in this space.
I think Cynthia has a comment on that.
I gotta find my mute button. There it is. I just wanted to say, I know we only have 1 more minute. I have made a pretty big decision for what I'm doing. And most of you might have known me, like my focus is compassion and technology. My company is Inner Ally, and it's all about how to use your inner voice to improve your life. And it follows research-based techniques. And it's always struggled for a product market fit. I've never gotten a good market, and because it's just like, I want to help everybody, right? I'm like, oh, I want to help everybody. I chose the niche market, and I'm going to be going after cybersecurity leadership. And I'm going to be addressing the problem of burnout and the need for resilience. And so all my tools are the same, but the language is going to be, oh, thank you for the hearts, guys. The language is going to be shifting, you know? And so I'm thinking now, like, and I was going to call my little focus area, you know, compassion in tech, but that the compassion word doesn't resonate with that population as much as like resilience. And so I just wanted to let you know that I'm kind of thinking on the back end here about that. And if anybody has any friends that are in cybersecurity leadership that would be willing to talk to me, I would love to kind of get some more insider information. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I know, Ben, you have to leave, but just one comment. You should talk to Nicole and Ari about the gaming. And Cynthia, this is so amazing. You know, one course that I mentioned before for the academy, and I think you should talk to Troy about this because I think this would be interesting for you, is the minimum viable data. And it's really interesting because this is about, you know, what kind of, it's about companies that are in early stage as well, that are figuring out what's the MVP kind of, and it's taking on each one of the stage and thinking specifically, you know, not only from the kind of you know, data perspective, which means that your tech is effective, but also thinking about the customer perspective, you know, how you're selling and how you're approaching the right customer for your product. So follow up with him, really. I think it will be useful on your case.
Let me make sure I have the right person that you're telling me to follow up with here.
Troy Haynes. Yeah, Troy Haynes.
Okay, I think I've got a connection to him on LinkedIn.
For sure. He's chapter leader as well. So Laura.
Yeah, it's a busy year for me. I mean, in terms of like my startup, like I'm soft launching this school year our first application with within our public schools. I'm right now concentrating in DC, but the goal is by 2023 to be able to have the capacity to expand that out. So it's our social emotional learning digital curriculum database. And basically I'm in the process of planning to roll that out and doing more campaign outreach, I guess, in terms of trying to get people to sign up to be on our list to be the first to receive the application once we get it launched. So this year is basically like PR campaigns. We're doing research. We've started I have a youth-led research team that is basically producing content and papers, working papers on mental health and the importance of amplifying that in our K through 12 education, like making mental health education a core part of learning. So we're using that as a way to kind of also strum up more interest in our tools, but like helping to flood information on like making mental health a core part of instruction and why it's important for all communities, including being inclusive and thinking about our marginalized, historically marginalized communities. So yeah, that's my it's a lot going on this year, but part of it, like with transformative tech, is being more connected to our human, our biotechnology, research, universities and centers and things of that nature here in DC, and you know, that connection for me is important, not only as DC DC transformative tech community standpoint, but also in terms of like helping learn more for my own startup here and building those connections. So it's both are really important, and having like that space to develop community is really impactful for me. So that's a major link that I'm trying to.
One comment on that. First of all, I know we have been speaking about that, so I'm glad you're following. You're going through, you know, the accelerators, and it really there's like a lot of connections going on there. And in relationship with the universities, follow up with Ben. Because he actually, many of the people that work with him are volunteers that he you know, connects through AngelList, but he also and we are actually using also AngelList that connects with universities. So it's a very good way to you know, to start, you know, working on projects. We are using it for research. We are just starting. So also, if you want to talk with me about that, we can talk about this, but it's also, you know, kind of a learning experience for us, but at least we know that it's useful and you can connect with universities.
Okay.
Through Handshake.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. I just texted it there. Thank you for sharing, Laura. And Dimitri?
Yes. And so I want to talk more about Handshake as well. So 2 major updates for me, 3. So by the way, we did one in-person event in LA last year in September, and it was super fun. It was like really, really awesome. So definitely, I think that people are very hungry for some kind of event. So on the professional front, we're launching a Indiegogo campaign crowdfunding campaign for my new product, like kind of a new version of my old product that I showed you, Paula, the prototype of. So that's coming in March, and that's also in the category of frequency medicine. So that's aligns nicely with what my focus has been. And then the other thing is I am kind of like splitting my time between a couple of different locations. So LA is one of them. And then, so I've been in Costa Rica for the last few weeks, and the community here is like very, very hungry for TransTech. It's very, very in the right space. So I'm excited to kind of get that off the ground here as well.
Sounds amazing.
Sorry? Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear. Oh, what city? Santa Teresa. So it's on the Pacific side.
Wow, I would love to hear more about that.
We should have a conference in Costa Rica.
Let's do it.
Very easy to get people here, I'll tell you that.
Oh my God, I'm so happy you're there.
Cool. Can I ask you a question? I'm wondering, why are you choosing Indiegogo versus like, you know, the other platform for crowdfunding?
Versus Kickstarter, or is there another one that you?
Yeah, for Kickstarter, like why Indiegogo?
So Kickstarter,
versus...
Kickstarter is they're a lot stricter on their category of what's like what you can raise. What the products can be. Much more narrow. But you know what? I haven't checked in a couple of years, so maybe it's worth looking into it again.
Cool. I would love to hear like your journey of what are things that, how are you prepping to do crowdfunding? Because something I'm like interested in, if you would be down in sharing.
Yeah, for sure.
Like another time, or
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, I'm late for my next meeting already.
sorry.
But I don't know if you want. No, it's okay. If you want to continue the conversation, I will just, because it's not on my Zoom room, so I will let you take it over if you want. If not, then I will declare it over. But I'm going to make you co-host, Marianne, because you were the first to join. So I will say bye to everyone. And you can take in from here and leave whenever you want. I love you all, and I will follow up after this.
sounds good. Have a good
Bye,
meeting.
Paula.
Don't forget the
Bye.
YouTube channel,
Thank
please.
you.
The YouTube channel.
I share it already.
Oh yeah, Ray.
Don't do that during the weekend, please.
I subscribed.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
It was nice to meet you, Laura and Miriam.
Yeah, you too, Cynthia. I'm checking out your site right now, and what I really love is the Meet Cynthia, like that page, and the first sentence, I really love it. And the fact that you've got a photo of all the certificates. That's cool. That's a good idea. It's like,
You know, I'm working in a field that's normally dominated by licensed psychologists.
Right.
And so I'm kind of like, and I have this thing and I got that thing. My PhD is in basic research. So yeah. And Laura, you
Yeah.
might check out my cards.
oh, I saw that.
On my website, because this is like a great way to practice self-compassion and maybe fun for kidlets.
Hey, yeah.
Very cool. Did you make it yourself? Is your own?
I started Inner Ally in like 2014, so I've been at this a while, and so far it hasn't really been supporting me yet. And so I'm hoping this pivot to looking at a particular niche, like I'm really niching in a serious way. And so I'm hoping that'll support me, and then I can make enough money to be able to actually, like these, I want to put them in like with a proper little booklet and in a little box. And so right now I'm shipping them myself, and it's like, I lose money on it basically. I just love I love having them and doing the work, but yeah. And always I want to have this be a really cool mobile app, but I've never gotten anybody to want to fund it,
Yeah, I hear you. And I think if you guys are okay, should I just end the recording so we can just chat?
Oh,
Oh
sure.
yeah, good idea. That Paula